Good morning. Get some coffee. I'm Stacy. This is Walking in My Shoes, and we're loving my veteran. I am way behind this morning, so sorry I'm a minute or two late getting on. Just want to take this opportunity to say welcome if you've never been. Hello. For those of you who are faithful and here all the time, we appreciate you and we adore you. So I just wanted to say that this morning. Let's see, what else did we have? We had a really good Let's Talk last night. It was different. Yes, you know I have to have coffee. Um, it was different. We had eye-opening healing. It was very healing is the word I'd like to use. Um, it made me take a deep step back yesterday, last night. And for those of you who don't join our Let's Talk, you're really missing out because we learned so much from each other. So I wanted to put that out there. Where are we at? Don't forget Sunday we're going to do a check-in on Sundays. I'm excited. That's at noon on Eastern time. I'm always behind as usual. There's so much stuff going on. I have got to get the new website up and done this week. Hopefully today. It is fabulous. There's so much new stuff coming in the pipes, down the work. In June, we are going to offer life coaching services. We have 3, possibly 4 life coaches who you'll be able to sign up with and utilize life coaching experiences. We'll have files available now. So things are getting way where they need to be, and I'm super excited. All right, so today's topic is called The Journey. Um, life is a journey. If somebody would have said to me, Stacy, you would be speaking in front of people, I would say no. I have a horrible voice. I was a DJ, which was kind of cool because I could do DJing. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Sarah, Pam, Jennifer. I could have done all of that from behind the thing, so nobody knew me because I hated the sound of my voice. And if somebody would say, hey, this is where you're going to be today, I would say, you've lost your mind. This is not what I do. But our life is a journey. And I think that so often when you hear, especially new people who come on, hear about some of the successes that some of us have had. And we go through these really great periods where we have these successes and our victories. I firmly believe, don't forget my victory wall, victory wall, victory wall speech. We look at our victories and then we hit a roadblock or we go backwards or we compare our victory to somebody else's victory. You can't do that. Life is a journey. Okay, everything in your past led you to the moment you are today. Everything that you bring with you led you to where you are today. Every battle that your veteran deals with and his demons and whatever led you in your relationship to where they are today. But more importantly, everything you have gone through has led you to where you are today. So you cannot sit back and use, and I'll say our matriarch, use Nakia and where she's gotten with her Richard as the litmus test to whether you're doing it right, especially when you're just starting this journey. There is no roadmap. Good morning, Colleen. There is no roadmap for this journey. Okay? You have to do that. And Sarah's right, you have to look at those victories because negativity spreads in your head faster than it takes over. Yay, happy Friday. It is very important that your victories are so self-healing. So please, I encourage you again to get into your victory wall. It will be your new roadmap. But our journey is amazing. There are good things and there are bad things in our journey. And now, in a world we live in now, we look at what's the fastest way to get from point A to point B and how quickly can I get on the interstate and how fast can I drive from point A to point B. All right? What do you see along the interstate? When you're riding on 4 lanes and 4 lanes coming to you, so there's 8 lanes of traffic or 6 lanes or whatever, what do you see on the interstate? We get excited because we see the exit signs. And there might be some billboards along the way that are advertising where you can go and what you can see. And Carl laughs at me because every time we go somewhere, I map out where we're going by the food along the way. We can stop here because this is where Bill's Barbecue is. Or when we get to here, I'm going to go eat at Willie's Weenie Wagon. Or when I get here, I'm going to go eat at Captain Frank's. My journey is I always talk about food. But those places are not on the highway. They're not on that super highway. I can remember taking a patient one time, very critical patient, to Atlanta. Well, obviously, from Southeast Georgia to Atlanta, the quickest way is the interstate system. Although you'd think that they would go from the corner to corner and we'd have a highway that goes that way. So we would do that. And I can remember taking this really critical patient to Atlanta, and there was a massive wreck on the interstate ahead of us that had completely shut everything down. And we had to drive the back roads. And I can remember taking this patient through the back roads. And when you've done this long enough, like for me, I could be in the back of that ambulance and know what town where we were on our journey. Okay. I like 16. There's nothing on 16, by the way. That is like, I call that the interstate to nowhere. There is nothing on I-16, not even good cell signal. But I could used to tell you where we were in the journey on our ride there based on the curve of the road, the change in the road sounds. I knew that from the back. I mean, you didn't like you had a lot of windows to see out, right? So I knew where we were, because I was so used to it. Well, when we had to take the back roads, I'm like hanging on and things are a little different. Well, we decided then to come back the same back roads because, the whole interstate was closed down. We found some of the most amazing things on that journey. We found some of the most amazing sights on that journey. So if you think that fast tracking from where you are today to where our matriarch Nakia is today, you are missing some valuable things. You are missing some valuable steps along the way. The journey is worth it. Ever just gone for a ride? See, I live now in Southeast Georgia, lived here forever. And one of the things, I know that for anybody who does country music, Brantley Gilbert and them talk about being on the dirt roads. Luke Bryant is big about being on the dirt roads. Let me tell you something. We rode in trucks. We do that here in Southeast Georgia. Okay, so what are you going to do Friday night? We're going to go ride in trucks. We're going to go ride the dirt roads. You'll hear the kids say that. What y'all doing? Well, we're going to go riding the dirt roads, and it's this whole twang they use, riding the dirt roads. It doesn't even have all the letters of the alphabet correctly, but we do that. So it is amazing what happens when you just get off that beaten path and start riding down the dirt roads. Hey, Nakia. And you start riding on that journey down the dirt roads or off the beaten path. And you know what happens when you're riding down dirt roads or any road off the beaten path and you're just kind of riding around? You'll find a lot of dead ends. And you find these dead ends, and then you got to turn around and you got to go back and you got to get back onto wherever you were and go forward. Well, that's what happens in our relationships. We see this road and we're like, okay, here's this V in the road, the fork in the road. We're going to go off to the right. And sometimes that road to the right is a dead end. Sometimes you start down this path and you're like, okay, this is a great path. I love it. And then you get there and you don't get the desired results. So it's a dead end and you have to turn around and go back. But what happened in that when you did that? It wasn't a failure. It wasn't running into the dead end. You learned that's not the road you're going to take again. Right? So you learn that's not the road you're going to take again. So think about that in our journeys in our life. And I'm not just talking about our veterans. I'm talking about in our lives. You're going to take many roads that lead you to nowhere. And then you have to turn around and go back. because it dead ends. I would rather go down a road that dead ends than ride this 40-mile road to nowhere that I accomplished nothing on. So you need to take some time and realize that the journey is half of the deal. The journey is half of this battle. You don't get from point A to point B successfully. You know, I fly a lot. I love to fly. I think flying is like one of the coolest things ever. But you get on the plane, especially when you're leaving Atlanta, and you get on the plane in Atlanta, right? And all of a sudden, Atlanta looks, for those of us in the South, Atlanta looks really big, and the more darn interstate systems they build around it, the bigger it gets. And I'm really wondering how many more houses they can put in the Atlanta metropolitan area, which is now huge. One time we stayed in a hotel that marketed itself as being in Atlanta, and it was 45 minutes from downtown. And I'm thinking, I need to be downtown. I just stayed in a hotel 45 minutes from downtown. But you get in that plane, right? And so you're taking off from Atlanta, and of course you can see out the windows, and you see what's right there in front of you. And then as you get higher and higher in the sky, you see that all these little things are all over everywhere, and you realize that Atlanta is not that big. And then you go up over the clouds, and so you're flying above the cloud ceiling, and occasionally you can look down, and through the clouds you can see farms that look minuscule, and you can kind of see the stuff. And then when you get to your destination and you land, you see it come clear and clear into focus. But what did you miss along the way? What did you miss along the way? I have flown from the East Coast to the West Coast in a plane. And obviously in a plane, if you're flying, duh, and like I have wings. But I got on a plane, right? And so we changed planes, and we started from Atlanta as far as you can. And I flew to San Francisco, and I remember seeing Atlanta, and I remember seeing San Francisco. Well, we drove that as well. My parents, and when I was younger, they took me and my brother and my grandparents. And what did we do? We had no true destination we were going in. We rented a motorhome, and we spent 3 weeks with all these people in a motorhome riding across the country. And we saw things, and we stopped along the way, and we saw all these great things. But had we have popped on a plane and done it, we would have missed that. When Woody got out of the Navy and we drove back in the storm of the century, mind you. But even that road along the way, we saw so many things. We got to see things along the way that we would have missed had we wanted instant gratification. And sometimes we think that instant gratification is what we need. We got to do this. We got to see this result today. We got to get from point A to point B. This is where I want to be. This is where I'm starting. I need the most direct route. I need the super highway route. And what you miss along the way is the journey and all the beautiful things that you miss. And people look at failures and like, oh my God, I failed. You didn't fail. You didn't fail. You went down to a dead end, but you learned something along the way. You may have seen something along the dead end that was pretty. It may have had a little victory along that way that you put up on your wall. Okay, see, that may all come into play. But the one thing you learned is I don't want to go down that road again. So you don't. And we miss that when we try to speed up this journey. We miss that when we try to speed up this journey. Michelle and I were talking this morning about her grandson Trace teething and crying. And I can remember, David was my oldest, and David was like the easiest baby ever. He came into this world. I brought him home. He slept from 11:30 at night to 5:30 in the morning every day, every night. Never woke up in the middle of the night, ever. Other than he has some sleep apnea, and he would pull his monitor cables off so he'd wake us up. But he never woke up in the middle of the night. He never cried. We didn't go through it. One day he woke up, he had a mouthful of teeth. There was some teething involved. He was great. And then Seth came. Seth was the worst baby on the planet. He screamed, he cried, he couldn't be consoled. He had gastrointestinitis. He'd get blood blisters when his teeth tried to come in. He screamed nonstop. He had his days and his nights backwards. And I'm going to tell you, there are moments I could have put a pillow over that child's head. If it wasn't for my Aunt Sharon coming and getting him and giving me a break, I would have gone like crazy. And so all I wanted was to hurry up and get out of that phase. Get me out of that phase. Well, we did, and Seth became a cute toddler, and everything worked on about its business. And then something else came along in our life, and I'm like, can we just get on with this and let's go to the next phase? And can we just get on with this and let's go to the next phase? And what happens? What happens is we were so busy. We were so busy doing things that now my child's going to have a baby. And I think back to the day he was born. How much of that journey do I remember because I wanted to wish it away? So Stephanie goes, it's so hard for someone who's a get to the point A to point B person who's married to a take the scenic long journey. I've had to learn that our journeys are so different and deserve respect and equality. And they do. They do. I am, me, Stephanie, Michelle, we are definitely bred out of the same mold. We are type A, get it done, just do it. We don't care how it's done, just get us there, controlling personality. We are. All three of us will admit to that. We will say it. And I am married to this guy who is amazing, by the way, amazing, to this guy who is like, oh, we'll do it later. Oh, he enjoys his journey. He's never in this, let's put that off and let's spend some us time and let's do this and let's do that. And I'm like, for God's sakes, can we just get this done? But we miss the journey. And the one thing Carl has taught me is to sit back and enjoy the journey. I can be swamped doing this. And y'all know I love to shoot a bow, and I can be swamped doing something. And I'm like, I'm busy. I got to do this, 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 and this. And the other day I went outside, and I hadn't shot in forever. Part of it is just me I didn't have the confidence anymore. I go outside to the bow case sitting outside, to the arrow case sitting outside, and the target up, and he says, okay, let's do it. And I'm like, Carl, I got a lot to do. And he's like, you enjoy this. Just do it. And it was probably the best feeling I had felt in a very long time, because he made me realize that getting from point A to point B was not as important on the quick route as it was to take time out for the little things. And that's what happens on our journeys. That's what happens on our journeys. I know Natalie's on it because it sounds like me. Natalie, I know from talking to you, there is a point you can't wait for your kids to get old enough to settle down and do whatever, okay? And do whatever. And you can't wait for the puppy to get bigger so he's not chewing holes in your walls. But one day you're going to sit back and you're going to be in my shoes. You're going to be like, where the hell did they go? I'll take that puppy chewing on the wall. I'll take my kids screaming one more time. I'll take yelling at them to get them all in the bathtub. You forget that. You forget that you missed that. And there is a difference. Now, I'm going to tell you, Colleen, because I live with this too. There is a difference in veteran time, as I like to call it, or guy time probably is a better realistic answer, in putting things off than there is in slowing down and taking a journey. Okay, in slowing down and taking a journey. When something has to be accomplished, always give them a by-when time. There are certain things we have to do. We have to do it from here to here, and this has to be accomplished by now. How you get there? Take your journey, meander through it, but just make sure that by 2 o'clock tomorrow, this is done. This is what it is. I know. Look at you, Stephanie, a high schooler. She's so beautiful, by the way. But that's what happens. Girl. You going to Ella J? Really? You know, Ella J ain't far from me, just so you know. Um, but being able to enjoy each other, being able to just be able to be in that moment, that is so important. And we get so busy and so wound up that we forget to be in the moment. You know, I listened to Nakia talk, and I listened to Nakia talk, and she talks about Richard and the moments that she feels like, you know, were important, and now they're sitting next to each other holding hands, or they're going for a ride. Those things are so important. Um, yeah, you do lose your identity, and we all do that. So it is very important that we do that. It is very important that we take time to enjoy that journey. It makes time that we all get together. Hey Natalie, we need to have a little reunion up there because I'll go to LJ. I like it up there. So we just need a little time to enjoy the journey. You know, now that she's talked about LJ, I'm gonna tell you one of my favorite places I've ever been in the entire world, besides Disney, which I think is just truly magical, and not because I like the rides, because I like to see the faces, is to Babyland General. And for anybody who knows, that's where the Cabbage Patch Dolls were born, is at Babyland General, which is not far from LJ. Um, I love to go to that place, okay? Because the imagination and the excitement, and you get to take a minute to take off from the world, and it's off the beaten path, and you really have to go there. But that journey was just so much fun for us. And you don't realize sometimes it's about the little things. It's about the little navigations in your journey. Are you gonna fail at it? Yep, you're gonna take the wrong road. Carl and I went riding the dirt roads not too long ago. It had stopped raining for a couple of days. We thought things were kind of fine. We're riding this dirt road, long dirt road from one to the other. Things were great. We had seen a little bit of water on it, no big deal. There's some water. We have a big truck. My truck is very heavy. So what happens? We are literally a mile and a half, probably 2 miles from the house. That full truck gets buried to the axles. To the axles. So we were taking this journey that now has left us with the truck buried to the axles, and stomping out trying to get the things and putting the wood up underneath the tires. And we're laughing. We're laughing about it at this point. And, you know, just the old adage, we happen to have a Chevy. We had to call a friend of ours who had this rundown Ford four-wheel drive, and he laughed the whole way that the Ford had to pull the Chevy out. But sometimes on the journey you get stuck. And now we can sit back and we laugh about it. And that's what your journey is about. Did we fail? Yeah, we did. We got the truck stuck to the axles. But what did we do? Two grown people basically played in the mud trying to get the truck out. And that's what you miss along the way when you take the speed route from point A to point B. You're not building that, and you're not seeing the little things that matter when you try to take the speed route from point A to point B in your journey. You know, Nakia and Richard, when they first got together, right? And so they're first together, and they're living in this nightmare of PTSD and other things that go on. And now they're at this moment where things have kind of reversed their roles. Had it not been all the little things along the way, they wouldn't be happy to be in each other's presence. It was the journey that allowed them to be happy to be in each other's presence. You know, she talks about, I can't wait till she goes next week on her vacation. And she's taking Richard to a place that they used to go camping that's now a lush resort. And She has a date with him Thursday night to sit in a clamshell and um, look over the 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 water. And she's so excited about that journey. And I'm saying that's where you get when you enjoy it. Yeah, our journey has moved us in lots of different places too. I've moved 3 times last year in the same state, though, thank God. Where are you going this time, Sarah Cam? I know you're, but where are you going this time? And that also creates disruption, but it is the journey. Um, it is the journey that makes you enjoy what you have now. Nakia shared the story about pushing Richard off the porch, which I still think is one of the funniest stories ever, by the way. And it wasn't always easy for her. It wasn't easy for me. It's not easy today. It wasn't. Oh, I love Tennessee. It damn sure wasn't easy for me yesterday. Damn sure I was in a spot. He was in a spot. We was all up in a spot. It damn sure wasn't easy yesterday. But you get back on and you enjoy the journey. And and that's where the journey is so important to us. So I think that I'm excited for you too when you get him up there and relax a little bit. It's that journey in our life. Where do we go together? How do we get from point A to point B? How do we enjoy those moments? How do we do those things that are important? You know, how many times have we been somewhere? Like I said, I fly a lot sometimes. Well, before COVID started, and probably will never fly again now that I got to have a vaccine card to get on an airplane, but whatever. But how many times I can remember going to Hartsfield and to the airport in Atlanta, and y'all, getting on the tram is the coolest thing I ever did. You don't realize that, like, when you're flying by from Terminal A to Terminal B to Terminal whatever, y'all, there are like this most amazing paintings in the tunnel where the tram goes. How many people have seen that? Because busy, they're so busy worrying about point A to point B that they don't see the paintings. Okay, the plane train. I love it. It's so great. But how many times do we not see the paintings? How many times do we not see what Aaron and Richard saw the other day from behind the service? They were on a ride somewhere, and she usually flies by. They took a little thing, and they saw wildflowers. And what happened as a result of that? They both got out of the car and picked bouquets of wildflowers and put them in mason jars, and they were phenomenal. And she stopped along the way and picked flowers. And I think about that. And I think about that moment that they had and the flowers that they were given, that she was given, that Richard handpicked with her and put them in a mason jar. And then they did another one. They gave it to somebody else for a gift. I'm thinking about you. But that's part of our journey. And I'm not just talking about the physical journey. I'm talking about our mental journey and how we evolve and our skills that we're learning. Sometimes we're going to make mistakes. Sometimes we're going to go backwards. Sometimes we're going to drive in circles. But while you're doing all of those things, look at the positive that you're gaining on that journey. Look at the positive stuff that comes along on that journey. Natalie, I can tell you right now, Natalie's going on vacation to Ellijay, which is going to be beautiful, by the way. Now she's got to pack clothes for the kids. She's got to pack hubby's clothes. She's got to make sure all the stuff is in order. Okay, I'm just going to give you what all's going on the list because that happens to all of us that are going on vacation, right? So you got to get all this stuff just to get to enjoy the moment of happiness. So she's willing to take that stressed time to get everything together, and she can't wait to see her husband relax. Nakia is going on a little mini vacation. Do you know what it's like taking somebody who has medical needs on vacation? You got to have everything. Everything that could go wrong, you got to have that equipment for. So what's she doing? She's packing it all up and she's going. And she's going to sit Thursday night in a clamshell. Ooh, and bring the dogs. Girl, use a brave soul. So, this is whatever. Girl, that is so funny because Carl says the same thing. I turn, like when it comes time, like a few days before we go on vacation, I like turn into the raging bitch because I'm the same way. I'm like I know we're gonna go somewhere, and so like on Monday, I'm like, hey, can we like start packing? Oh well, we're not leaving till Friday. I'll pack Friday morning. No, I do not want you to pack it Friday morning. I want the suitcases zipped up and sitting by the door Thursday morning, not Friday morning. Okay, if it's possible, I want you to load the car Thursday night. Well, I don't know what I might need. Look, what you need is whatever's in that suitcase. Put it on your ass and let's go. That's what I want to say. And so it's so funny. That's gonna be so funny. You have fun with that. And so I think that but again, that's part of the journey because now when we got ready to go to Disney this time, I sat back and laughed. Carl said, there you go again. I sat back and laughed and was like, here we go. I'm turning in. No wonder you don't want to go on vacation with me. I turn into a bitch before we go. Why do we want to go? So it is. It's one of those things. Just make sure that you enjoy this journey. Make sure you don't look at the journey as a failure. Understand that there is no quick route from point A to point B in this journey. It is going to be roadblocks. It is going to be wrong turns. It's going to be the road you think that leads you to nowhere. Okay? It's going to be these places that you think you're going to go on that are going to lead you to nowhere. But that's your journey. That's your journey. That's right. Well, can we please come visit you before y'all be running around naked? Because I'm just saying. Okay, Natalie. But that's your journey. That's your journey. That's what we do. It is the journey that gets us there. It's part of living your dash. Remember, it's not the day you were born and the day you die that matter. It's the dash in between. So it's not getting from point A when you start this journey and start to navigate through it to getting to the level that Nakia is at with Richard. It's not that. It is the dash in between. It's what it took her to get there. What did she learn? How did she fail? What did she accomplish out of it? When did the respect start to come back? When did the love come? All of these things. When did all that? And when you look at those victories that went through your journey, that is what's important. Carl always says, reconnect at a place where you had your first kiss or a special moment or whatever. So I'm so proud of him, and I'm not, again, I don't divulge what we talk about on Let's Talk, but I'm so proud of him and where he went on Let's Talk last night and what he opened up about. And I looked at him and I said, well, you say we could disengage and go back to where our first kiss was. Our first kiss happened at a gas station, a convenience store, an hour and a half up the road. Do I need to put you in your red Georgia hoodie and drive you an hour and a half up the road so I can go back to that first kiss? And I just think that we have to do that. And that's where the journey comes in. Enjoy your journey. Enjoy your night sitting in the clamshell watching the sunset. Enjoy holding hands. Enjoy that kiss in the kitchen. Those are the things that help you get through this. Because if it's just about going from point A to point B, you're missing out on life that's important. See, I'm not even riled up today. It's a mellow Friday. Although I do have to get quite riled up on the other page. I do remember the first kiss. I kissed him first. No doubt. I kissed him first. I knew I loved him before I ever laid my eyes on him. We talked for months. And I knew I loved him before I ever laid my eyes on him. And as much as, we joke about it or whatever, Carl is my veteran, and I love him. And that's why I'm here. That's why all the rest of you are here. You love your veteran. You want a better life together. Because if you were done and checking out, you wouldn't be here today. You're worth that journey. He's worth that journey. She's worth that journey. And yes, we have bad spots. And yes, we have wrong turns. And yes, we have all of those things. But they're part of our point A to point B. All right, I'm running late as usual and talking like more than I need to. So let me just kind of wrap this up. Please pray that I get this website situation straightened out today. That is on my priority list today, is to get that straightened out. We have so much positive going on that we just can't even begin to explain. Please pray for safe journeys for Melissa and Nick as they come back from Philadelphia. He had to go there for his PTSD evaluation. That's a whole nother story. I'll let Melissa share that with you. But they're looking in along the journey, and she's going to get a Philly cheesesteak on her way home, so she's excited from Philly. Pray for them on their way home. There's a lot of other people that need prayer and uplifting, so if you're one of those people, just pray for them or keep them in your thoughts. Send them good juju, good vibes, whatever. Enjoy our family that we have here. Enjoy our community. Sunday, Melissa will do a check-in at noon. Yeah, we have so much going on. I can't even remember all the stuff that we do. So, life coaching is coming. I'm super excited about life coaching. I think it's going to be important that we have individual plans. If you need some individual plans, we'll have that. We are building the veteran side. We brought on some more people that have joined the group that I think are going to be encouraging to our veteran population and community as well. I'm super excited to work that out with them. I've got a couple of great guest speakers lined up for Let's Talk for June. We'll put all that out as soon as we can. Y'all have a blessed weekend. I love you. We love our veterans. I'm Stacy. This has been Walking in My Shoes, and we are loving my veteran. Y'all have a blessed day. Bye.